Hello, this is Naoto, and I'm going to. Well, this was not middle finger, this was index finger. I'm currently in Santa Marta in Colombia. I'm quite happy right now for the vacation. This is December 31st, the last day of 2022. And one thing I wanted to do before the new year, which is already in some places, like in Japan, it's already New Year, like 4 hours ago. But yeah, to wrap up, I wanted to do audio, like talk through, like narration of my performance I did last month, November 29th, in Bogota during the semester end performance. The idea is that we're going to see the video and I'm going to talk through, but basically the cameras are still, and as a documentation, it's not so good. Um, and which is actually good and bad. Like, you won't see the whole performance, you don't get this idea of it, but at the same time you can tell that you have to see the performance. Like, it's not like it doesn't like conclude in the video. So um, instead I decided to use the video as a material, and I will remix it as audio um, narrated, like a new material that comes out from this video. And after 1 month I talk about this performance. So let's go. We have two views, one from this corner, and this starts first, so I'll start video. By the way, I stopped the sound for this one, so that's normal. And as soon as I start the other camera, I will hit the play button on the other one. Okay, now you hear the sound. So the space is called Bellas Artes building, like fine art building in the National University of Colombia, where I was doing the exchange semester for 4 months. And this alarm, I don't know whose alarm it is. And I set up a solo exhibition. The idea is that every student has to do some kind of huella, like footprint of their process. Like, they have to show it, like written or images or whatever. And I decided to like collect things that I made during the exchange and before, and show it as an exhibition. Which actually you can see another video. There's another video that I was walking in the space shooting the beach work. So I'm starting, and always, like I said, like 15 minutes timers. That's why I was showing the phone. 15 minutes. By the way, I will speak in English in this one, but in the performance I was speaking in Spanish, English, and Japanese. One of the things that I was wearing black, which is really intentional, that I use a lot of colors, but I want to make it contrast. So basically, I decided to do the performance in the backward order. And this is so we start from the feedback right now. I actually heard from like a feedback that the sound was a bit off, and actually it is off. I don't know why. Let's just check the sound. I mean, not sound wise, but this is a Japanese fisherman's dance called soramushi. But the way I do it, by the way, this is the climax. This is something I have to say that I had like a few rehearsals like by myself and also in front of others to have feedback, and at one point it's like structured improvisation, so I kind of think about the structure, but also maybe I switch the sound to the other camera because maybe it has a better synchronization. Okay, let's try this. So this soramushi is like something that came up at one of the rehearsals and people loved it. Like I've practiced this around 2015 to 2016 when I was in Canada, Montreal. So, I mean, I actually learned it when I was in Japan, like in middle school, but that was for the school, like, it was not really intense, like, nobody also knew what, like, how it looks, like, how it should be. But when I was in Canada, I was practicing with a Japanese dancer, like, a traditional dancer.
You missed this part.
I was explaining, and also I think someone just came in and joking that she missed that part.
Japan. Entonces, warm up.
So now I'm going to warm up, but the idea is that actually this time I think the reason why I came close to the camera and went back was that I thought maybe I should wear the jacket or hoodie, but I decided not to because I think in the warm up I normally start with my hoodie and like keep it warm, but then as soon as I get warm I undress. But it's a backward order, so I should start with a bit more intensity in the warm up. So I'm already warm, and then slowly cool down, and I wear something. So I had to like think about these like different order in mind, which I already thought as a structured improvisation, but the small details are improvised. And going back to the soramushi, I really like the movement. I mean, people like the movement because it carries a lot. Like I was practicing with a professional dancer, and she gave me a lot of feedback. And sorry to interrupt myself, but that's why like it was really important, but also like I was questioning if I should do it at the end or can I like work with the order of the performance, like not always like okay here's a climax and I do that official. And here what I'm explaining is in the warm-up I always think about this workshop, like somatic movement workshop in Japan that I was taking. This is a studio in Tokyo, and AAPA, it's the collective's name, and in their studio they teach contact improv, somatics, and so on, some contemporary dance vocabulary and stuff. And when I'm in Japan, I normally try to go there. I think I'm started going there in around 2017 or so, 2016 maybe. So it's never like I take regular classes, but I go there spontaneously. And I was joking with other students after the class that the teacher, Minori-san, she always, well, not always, but she says yuka ni hairu, which is, as I was explaining, to enter the floor, not to be on the floor. And that word just so cute. And I was explaining that in this performance because whenever I'm on the floor warming up, I think about this phrase.
Joy. Amikasa.
So I'm going home. I wear my hoodie, and this is like kind of a repertory. It became a repertory that I'm walking around, explaining that the school is so big, the campus of the National University of Colombia. And it's a wordplay that casa in Spanish is house, that I'm going home, but in Japanese, casa means umbrella. And this day actually it was raining hard just before the performance. Although like during the performance it was really sunny, nice day. Interfares is the area that I lived back then. I'm trying to orient myself. And vacas, the cows, caballos are the horses, and there is like a farm of this veterinary, I don't know if it's the right word, but one of the departments of the school, and I say hi to them every day walking by because when I enter the school, I see them on the way to the graphics design building where I was studying, taking courses of this master's. I feel I overused this part, but well, in the rehearsals, but it's wordplay again that baka, like cows, mean like stupid, so it's like insult in Japanese. Or crazy. I was saying that I was trying to be a crazy person, but the movement became like contemporary dance. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to describe crazy person with a movement. Then it became dance. That was really funny. And maybe that's something I could experiment a bit more. So I keep going home, continue my journey to home, which takes like, I don't know, 30 minutes from this, well, not this building, but the building I was studying to home, and like half the time I spent inside the campus because it's so big.
ただいま。あ、おかえり。
So there's like greetings in Japanese, and this part I think I improvised. Like I did once in one of the rehearsals, but I thought I want to develop a little bit more.
When you come at home, you say, ただいま。
It's a greeting when you say when you came back home,
おかえり。
and that's the kind of the response to that greeting.
ただいま significa ahora o ahorita.
I'm trying to like translate it in Spanish, but this part I was not prepared.
おかえり significa volver.
So I'm doing this skit in Spanish.
Estoy en mi casa y todos es en inverso. Yo desayuno.
And now this assume is the breakfast because I came home and I eat arepa, which is like a Colombian staple food. Cornbread, that's like how it's called, or how it's described.
Y tinto.
Tinto is the coffee. I think it's normally like a dripped coffee, like a filtered coffee. Yeah, dripped coffee is in Japanese. Filtered coffee, like batch brew.
No quiero ir a la noche.
I don't know why I'm complaining. Maybe I was expressing that I'm super nervous because this is like going backwards. So this is before the performance at home eating breakfast, and then going back to the shower. Actually, this is like one of the things that I always like get confused. Like, do I take shower before eating breakfast, or like, I mean, it doesn't matter for performance. I can just make it up, but I want to be a little honest about it. Because that's the really important part of the performance, that I'm honest about myself. And then I started undress to take a shower, or actually I'm putting on, backwards putting on, because it's inverted. And actually this camera captures myself naked. And this view I intentionally went out of the frame, so you don't see myself during this part. It's not that I'm hidden behind my video. And here's the timer. This is actually the timer I set at the beginning of the performance. Fortunately, or like just coincidentally, it rang when I was undressing, which is kind of cool actually.
Yo hago todo inglés.
So the thing here is that the twist here is that in a shower you come up with like great ideas, and then
En mi imaginación.
I decided to do the performance backwards.
Estoy en la ducha.
But this is now it comes to my imagination in a shower that I'm doing, like rehearsing in my head,
So I finish with
which means that
warm.
now they were, I was saying that it's backwards of backwards, and now I'm finishing with the warm-up part,
En mi imaginación.
which I could have done, like I'm finishing with going home or something, but I don't know. I think
Slowly.
whatever.
ゆっくり。Despacio. ゆっくり。
And in fact, is actually true that I came up with this idea in a shower, but in a shower I only came up with the idea that I will do it from the bottom to the top. So I start from the climax and then finish with a warm up. But then I want to go back to the climax somehow, and then I don't know. Probably like when I was walking on the campus, I thought about, okay, like maybe I can come back to the state where I was in the shower, and then I can go into my imagination where I'm rehearsing backwards, but I go backwards of that, so I do it in the right order, whatever order that was intended. And I really like that I do all the parts twice, but they're like different, and you can see in the end. But for example, the climax, the fisherman's dance, the Soramshi, I didn't do it really like intense at first, and I put like full energy in the end. I mean, otherwise, like, if I put full energy at first, then I can't really continue. So, yeah, I think it was really interesting. Also, like, I don't have to like explain things twice. So in the first round, I explain things like what is this fisherman's dance, what is this warm up, like where I can take the inspiration, what is this yukai ni hairu, like entering the floor.
ようこそ
And for example, this part didn't exist in the first round of the backboard part. And this bowing is really one of the things that stood up in the rehearsals, so I decided to do this in the performance. I really like to look into the eyes of the audience, and the movement it came from Aikido, I think. I often like I say this, but like I practice Aikido, so I can do it like properly. I think I have good posture, but it doesn't mean that all Japanese people have that. I mean, some people do, but it's very not common.
No es escena, no comedia, es un ensayo con ustedes.
This is like the
En mi
kind of greeting, or like how to say, like an introduction that I always want to give to people,
esta
and I decided to do it this time, like at this moment. I don't know why after the warm up, but I just always thought like this is like just another rehearsal, and it's not like a
exposición
staged performance, although it is. I mean, yes and no, I think, because it's kind of the question I have, that this performance became like more like a snapshot of myself rather than like repeatable thing, because
最初は
I can't really do this again.
海外生活なんてもう10年近くやってわからないことばっかりで言葉も通じない何するにも時間かかるとにかくフラストレーション
This is my monologue in Japanese. I don't
で
know.
も自分で決めたことだから
I just decided to do it. This is really improvised.
不思議なことに地球の反対側に来て自分のアイデンティティについて考える
So I was like saying, like,
一体自分は何者で
I started to question about my identity a lot. I kind of emphasized that word because we imported that word in Japanese, so you could probably catch it even if I say it. in Japanese English.
ソーラン節です。ダンサーハモです。ですか。ペロ。ジョララエンハン。
By the way, I think the pronunciation of Canada is Canada in Spanish. Well, whatever. And I think I forgot to say in the first part that this is not the original version.
どっこいしょどっこいしょどっこいしょどっこいしょそうやんそうやんそうやんそうやんどっこいしょどっこいしょ
The volume is quite
そうやんそうやんそうやんそうやん
saturated.
どっこいしょどっこいしょどっこいしょどっこいしょそうやんそうやんそうやんそうやんどっこいしょどっこいしょどっこ
I
い
was
しょ
really shouting. And this is the version that is not traditional. It's like adapted version that is danced by like middle school students, and so it's like a more like a contemporary or popular version. And this is like kind of the chorus part of the song, and then this becomes another part. But I just decided to take this part. Thank you very much. So, thank you for watching. And to me, like just watching it again. Actually, I never like re-watched after the performance. So it's the first time I went through watching myself performing, and like it's 26 minutes, but I found it super short. And why? When I was performing, I think it was pretty short as well. Yeah, I don't know. I can talk like go on and on and on, but I think what I wanted to do is to talk over it, and I think I kind of gave the ideas like behind it. So for more like thoughts, maybe I will keep it for another moment. But one thing I wanted to say is, yeah, it was like first time for me to like really perform just with my body, and like kind of solo. Although I kind of have questioned like if it's actually a solo or not, because there are people, there are objects, and like there is like kind of interaction with them. Also, like I briefly said, but to me, it's not a performance, but it's more like a snapshot, like just putting out myself, and it's not repeatable. It's just that it's just me there doing something rather than like there's a beginning of the performance and end of the performance. So that's interesting. I was super exhausted after the performance. There's so many things I want to like further develop for sure. Like working with this fisherman's dance is never like a thing for me, for my work. I thought it was like something separate from my creation in a way. So it's interesting that after 6 7 years it kind of like merged, like blending back into my main focus. So yeah, there's like a lot. It's still like I feel it's really rough, but I like this roughness in my performance. Also, like setting up this exhibition was really really fun and also really exhausting. That I had to like set it up in like 2 hours and then dismantle after the performance, which was kind of sad. So next round, I think I will find a space where I can rent for a couple days at least, and I can set it up nice as a nice exhibition and then perform in that space. And I think also the space really changes um, the body, like affects the body a lot. And for example, this time I actually didn't notice which part, but there's this, the security came to see my performance, and I was inviting, but he didn't enter the space. But um, for example, that also these easels for the paintings that are really like adding some kind of interesting effect to it. Like although I was never using this workshop, I never paint in this space, but it looks like a bit like an open studio kind of feeling. Like initial idea was to like put easels like one on one side and set up my exhibition, but then I thought like okay, I would just use them as a panel, and I think it was a good idea. And if I'm using another space, I'll probably have other objects as panels, walls, and then that will affect the works, that will affect my body. I think it's like a constant exploration, coming back to yeah, space and body. Also in the narration, no, like talking during the performance, I was saying that this is not a performance, but it's a rehearsal, and it's just the space, just my body, and just you being there. So yes, I don't know who's watching this, but I think this is a really important part of my thesis, which I'm finishing at the Academy of Media Arts Cologne very soon, and I hope in 2023 I will have opportunities to show this, well, continuation of this work again, like not this work, but continuation in Bogota and Cologne as well. So keep in touch and have a nice day. Have a nice, happy New Year.